Deep in the jungles of Central America lie the ruins of a lost civilization. For centuries, explorers puzzled over their meaning. Who built these magnificent temples? Could their history be deciphered from the hieroglyphs they left behind? Archaeologists have now uncovered many of the secrets of the ancient Maya.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Their kings, their cities, their rise and fall. But half the puzzle is still missing. The story of how it all began. The early years of Maya history were long dismissed as pre-classic, a primitive era lost in myth before the rise to greatness. Now, a new generation is turning that idea on its head. In the heart of Guatemala, they are finding a Maya world that flourished 1,000 years before the one they already knew.
Almost like finding a new civilization.
Beneath the jungle, ancient revelations await. What may be the biggest pyramid ever built, towering over a mythic kingdom.
It's like Jerusalem for the Maya. That's the place they remember.
A dynasty of kings, their names forgotten for centuries.
He's buried somewhere.
A temple lost for 2 millennia. And on its walls, the Maya story of creation.
400 BC, 500 BC, 600 BC.
This is the final frontier of knowledge about the ancient Maya. As archaeologists cross it, they are entering the kingdoms at the dawn of Maya time. Spring 2003. Fires blaze across the jungles of Guatemala. Many set by farmers and ranchers in search of new land. A satellite photo shows the extent of the devastation. Almost 100,000 acres of rainforest in flames.
We were stunned, staggered by the amount of burning and the devastation that was taking place. In fact, there were areas where the helicopter was in such dense smoke that we couldn't see 5 feet on either side of the chopper.
Archaeologist Richard Hansen is traveling to the edge of the inferno. His destination is a treasure threatened by the fires, a city lost for centuries. El Mirador. Richard suspects the surrounding Mirador Basin holds clues to the origin of one of the greatest civilizations the world has ever known. Builders of magnificent cities like Tikal and Palenque, the Maya were among the greatest architects of the Western Hemisphere. Their astronomers mapped celestial movements with astonishing accuracy. every thought and fact under the sun could be expressed in their intricate hieroglyphs. Remorseless warriors, they fought bloody wars of conquest as their civilization spread across Mexico and Central America. This is the history we know of the classic Maya culture, whose cities flourished between 250 and 900 AD. But archaeologists are now discovering a Maya civilization that existed a full 1,000 years before that, in a time they call the Preclassic. Many of its remains lie buried in the Mirador Basin, in the same Guatemalan jungle now threatened by fire. At the lost city of El Mirador, National Geographic grantee Richard Hansen has worked for more than 20 years to solve the enigma of the early Maya.
Well, this is the third level of the Great Pyramid of Dante at El Mirador. The largest pyramid at the site, which stands for nearly a half a mile on platforms below us here, and probably one of the largest pyramids in the world.
It was built centuries before Christ in a time long considered primitive. But if the early Maya were so unsophisticated, how did they build a structure rivaling the pyramids of Egypt?
The person that commissioned this building was not a simple chief living in a grass hut. This was a king on the order of Ramses and Cheops.
One of the smaller pyramids of this lost city has captured Richard's imagination. Could the magnificent engravings on Structure 34 be the signs of a royal tomb?
This is a large jaguar paw with an ear spool in the middle. You see the ear spool here. And it has 3 realistic jaguar claws emanating from a realistic cuticle. Here's another jaguar claw here and another one at the very bottom. The fact that we find this pre-classic jaguar paw coordinates very well with a king who we believe governed from 152 BC to 145 BC. His name was Yoknum Ichak, or Great Fiery Jaguar Paw, and this may be a symbol of this. That's why this building is so interesting to us, because it's possible that this king could be buried here.
To test his theory, Richard has brought in the latest ground-penetrating imaging system. Expert John Liu lays cables which will transmit electrical currents through the ground. By measuring resistance, the system will map a section of the pyramid's interior. Will it reveal a chamber? Nearly 2 hours later, John calls Richard over. He has a result.
It's on this side.
It's on this side?
Yeah.
11 meters down on this side?
Yeah, about 10, 11 meters down. Yeah.
What's this? Dog. This is good news.
So
it's definitely there.
Yeah. So the shape...
The system has revealed a cavity, perhaps 8 by 2 meters, just the right size for a magnificent tomb.
That is a chamber.
Richard may be on the track of a spectacular find.
That's exciting, yeah. This is exciting.
It could be a discovery to rival the tombs of the classic kings who reigned centuries later. Legendary rulers like Pakal the Great. Pakal's tomb was discovered in 1952 at the city of Palenque by Mexican archaeologist Alberto Ruz. Today, archaeologist David Friedel is still unraveling the significance of that discovery.
In the late 1940s, Alberto Ruz found a rubble-packed staircase going down inside of this extraordinary temple. He didn't know what he was going to find at this juncture. He was in this hole for 3.5 years. But he knew he was taking a trip into the Maya underworld. And at the end of that trip, he found the most amazing thing that any archaeologist has ever found in the Maya world.
According to Friedel, Pakal believed he was the embodiment of a god. The tomb would be a map of his journey through death to resurrection.
So when Alberto Ruz got to the bottom of this subterranean staircase, he found a stone box right here, and he had to remove it. When he removed it, he found the sacrificial bones of a series of young people. And then he found this huge doorway, triangular, and he pulled it away and peered inside. What he saw was fantastic. It was a burial chamber with a massive sarcophagus inside of it, glistening with stalactites from centuries of water dripping down inside of it. So it was like a cave, but it was a sacred, holy cave.
Women would have carefully shrouded Pakal's body in cotton winding sheets. Ornaments of jade, symbol of life, were pressed into his hands. When his body was completely shrouded, it was drenched in red cinnabar, magical effication of blood, the essence of life. A jade mask would become Pakal's face for all eternity. Sealed in his sarcophagus, Pakal began a journey that would end with his rebirth as the god of eternal life, the maize god.
And carved on the sarcophagus lid was the image of Pakal himself, but not as an old man, but as a beautiful young lord. He's sitting inside of a bowl of sacrifice, and that bowl is at the base of a tree. And the cross-shaped tree is called a wakachan. It's the world tree. It's the Milky Way. He was going to climb up the stars. It says, Ochbe. When he died, he entered the path. He goes up into the sky, and there he rises in triumph as the maize god reborn.
Pakal's journey into the sky would take him back in time to the origins of the Maya world, where he would merge with the gods who created it. Pakal believed these gods were his ancestors, who sprang from a mythic place at the beginning of Maya time.
Pakal and his people traced themselves back to Kan, the primordial city. Kan was the place of the maize god's birth. That was the place. It really happened. It's like Jerusalem for the Maya. That's the place they remember, this Camelot, this original city at the beginning of the Maya creation.